You know what I do. It's been a good journey, but let's go right back.
Hi guys, Piers here, property investors and entrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever video that I'm doing. I'm going to talk to you guys about my property investing journey, where my strategies are in service accommodation as well. Guys, welcome to the new apartment that I've just picked up the keys for. Please come in. Guys, I'm absolutely excited to show you guys this apartment that I've just picked up.
As a business owner, I want to share you some of my thoughts on how to lead your business through this coronavirus crisis, and it will be some related to our business of service accommodation, but also related to just being business owner. 2 units, guys, so you had to hand over, give the landlord back the keys because he was not making any money. 2 further units, he sat vacant for nearly 3 months. Now today, fast forward 5 weeks, he's now made over £21,000 worth of sales and booking, working with myself, creating a very special guest who's not done this before. I haven't done this in my channel, but well, listen guys, today's video, we're gonna talk about Kenji's journey, and I think today Kenji's gonna open up to you guys.
Now this could save you thousands of pounds in experience and processes, and even in money, if you're new to this channel, that I try and share as much as knowledge, facts, of figures, working with clients all over the world, and currently we're working with over.
I was brought up in Nepal. My dad was a Gurkha and my mum was a housewife, and believe it or not, we never talked business in our household. I moved to the UK in August of 2008, and then the reality hit. 2008, I worked in Subway. 2009, I worked in Tesco's and Wilkinson's as a customer service. And in 2010, I thought I found the job I've ever dreamt for, which was working in 3, and especially I progressed it to a top 20 manager, being the best in the UK, and then this happened. Working in 3, Subway, Tesco's, Wilko, what I was tired of was overcommitting and hoping that someone would actually see my potential. But what I didn't know was I was preparing for this. Right, let's take you right back to 2014 when I invested in the perfume shop. It was a franchise business. I'm gonna put some photos here, and I was so happy that I started this business, especially, I was only 23. I knew nothing about business. I knew that I was a great salesperson. I managed a great store, right? And working with 3, I managed a couple of different stores, and I knew that was something that I really enjoyed. So I went in, got myself a perfume franchise, and the number one principle I want to take from this, and each business I take, I'm going to give you one principle and a question. The more mistake you made, the more you learn, right? And this was something as a principle I want to touch base on this, because the 2 years of operating this business, one thing I realized was I knew nothing about business, literally zero knowledge. Every day I turn up, I was learning as I go, but the concept, the framework of what I was doing over the last few years working for someone else gave me a great advantage of understanding and leading a store. So effectively, from selling a phone, I had the exact same model, but I was selling perfumes, and obviously we did numbers of things like fragrances for the rooms and cars and all that kind of stuff. But the reality was I had to learn. I had to spend time learning this process. So people watching this video, I want to be like, now fast forward 10 years later, thinking about what I did every single day. I was going in, I was waking up every single morning going, I'm going to go and open this little kiosk in the middle of town center, looking at sales strategy, looking at marketing strategy, using social media at that time to promote more stuff. We're giving free, and it all came back to understanding how to operate a store effectively. But the question I want to ask you is, what part of your journey do you think at the moment is helping you become that person to start a business? Or what are you doing right now in your current role that makes you feel like, actually, I can replicate this into a business model or an idea that I know, and I want to take the same concept, strategies, and everything that you've learned, implement that within the business. I'm going to straight away go into principle number 2. The first, you make your market and then you make your sell, right? So I'm going to go back to my journey owning a real estate agency or a estate agency agency in the UK as a high street estate agency owner. So nowadays I see, obviously, when I see posts from the UK, I see posts from Dubai as people being real estate agent, I'm like, oh my God, I remember this journey of me, the day I found someone and said, I won this store. And I'm going to talk about the principle, which is where it all goes back to why I started this. The first, you make your market and then you make your sell. So where I was based in Aldershot, it was heavily driven by Gurkha communities. So Nepalese communities, they obviously, everyone worked, or most of the people worked in the British Army. My dad have served the Gurkhas for 25 years. And what I realized was there were more and more people buying, or Nepalese people buying houses. But guess what? There was zero. There was no Nepalese state agency. So it now went back to me, obviously when I was in my perfume shop, I was constantly thinking about, I'm selling what I call the £4 to £20 ticket value, to now thinking, how do I go and start charging £500, £1,000 on a ticket value to serve customers based on what I believed was required on that market? So I didn't think about make and sell. I first created the market which was already available, right? So my estate agency, obviously me speak, I can speak Nepalese too. So I wanted to open a estate agency where I knew that anyone Nepalese who had the right place, they were about to purchase properties, they would come into my estate agency to get the right advice, and eventually I would have them as a buyers registered to my business. And that was the biggest asset. If you think about the business and the asset the business have, which is the customer database, it was amazing for me. As soon as I opened, and my estate agency was between McDonald's and KFC, obviously it's not a flex, but it was obviously being within the two big brands in the world. I had a little shop, we dressed it properly, we had amazing good fun in there. Eventually, going back to what I thought about when I first started, I said to myself, nobody's doing this, everyone's buying houses, I need to place myself where I know I can get loads of walk-in people coming in to buy houses, rent houses, and eventually we speak the language. So for me, I was getting vendors who were selling properties and they were moving away from Aldershot, and I had the Gurkhas, they were buying properties and the only place they wanted to buy was in Aldershot. So it worked in my favor. But going back to when I first thought about the business model, I knew there was a market for it, and I knew what I wanted to deliver to that market without worrying about what sales I would create. So the question I want to ask you again is, at what part of your journey right now are you now thinking there is something special that nobody knows? Because in my journey, I knew that, and I knew that nobody knew about Gurkhas buying houses, but nobody actually knew about how to start a estate agency. Now, if I hadn't started my perfume shop, I would have not understood how to start the agency business. So the question to you is, what do you think in your journey right now is making you think this is a market you want to get into? Principle number 3, be different and set the rule that works for you, and set your own rules. Now, I'm referring this to 6 years of growing my GrowYourBnB and Automate Your BNB as a business. And the reason why I say that, first, the principle says be different and set your own rules. When I first started, and again, this relates to my estate agency business, because the way I got into Airbnb and service accommodation was I was at the right place at the right time, lettings, sales, and when Airbnb started booming in 2018, we were right in the position where everyone were talking about it, but I have the option, the services to deliver that. And yeah, for me, it was, what I realized was it was amazing. At the same time, it was, if I hadn't had the estate agency business, I wouldn't have done what I did today, right? So let's go back to being different. So when I started GrowYourBnB, I realized that there was more people out there who were starting Airbnb business, but not understanding how to get bookings. So when people actually didn't get bookings, they would have gone to management company. And I realized that, saying, actually, I want to set my own rules. I want to be able, and I knew what I was good at. I did property marketing with Rightmove, Zoopla as my estate agency business. So I had the background of property marketing using my estate agency. When I then had the Airbnbs and booking.coms, when we worked through landlords, I realized that I was very good at marketing those because I knew the concept of what I did in Rightmove. So I took that and put it on Airbnb. And eventually I came to a position where I realized that there was not a lot of operators leveraging building a brand, which is what got people getting those high quality bookings, delivering what the systems, the processes. And as we've gone into many years of running GrowYourBnB, we then launched Automate Your BNB Today, which is what suits our need as a business, our need as what the market requires. And if you look at some of our, GrowYourBnB and Automate Your BNB reviews, I'm so proud to say this, that we were the first company to start this. And when I say we today, I have a team of 15, actually going into 16 people that have got, really build something that we enjoy doing every single day. But the principle for me was actually, I wanted to be a different. I didn't want to open another rent-to-rent business. I did not want to open a management company. Especially with rent-to-rent, what people forget is the legals, right? The amount of people I worked with on leasehold, and remember, again, going back to my experience on the estate agency, worked with a lot of mortgage company and how strict it can be. A lot of people lease property on rent-to-rent without checking mortgages. They forget to check the lease of the property. So effectively, for me, I'll be open, 90% of the deals in the UK is not done correctly because of those things not being checked. So for me, as the long term of the vision of the business, I wanted to make sure that I'm legally compliant. I'm making sure there's nothing that's going to impact the business, right? So for me, that's where GrowYourBnB came in. We set our own rules and I knew what was going to be best for our customers. The end user that kept coming back and asking, going, Piers, 2018, 2019, 2020, even lockdown, had loads of people. We saved over 16, 17 people. And that's going back to, I can really talk about this. You can see how passionate I am about the current business that we're building. However, now we're moving into also the Automate Your BNB, where we're automating people. Some of my clients, over 30, 40 properties, we're building their systems, and this goes back to the 10-year journey that I have my perfume shop. What did I build? What systems what can I take that into estate agency business? When I build my estate agency business, the CRM system, everything. So everything is piling up to what I now believe is what I enjoy doing the most. So the question I want to ask is, what are you doing, or what have you done? And everyone goes through their own journey, right? But what are you piling up right now that's going to allow you to talk about your journey in a way that I have, where I build one after the other, the steps that I need to deliver what I do today as a business owner? And yeah, I've still got loads to learn. I've still got loads to deliver for the market. I am very passionate about the Airbnb industry. I love what I do. I know the impact that we've made as a business. And again, I go back to reflecting my Trustpilot reviews. Got over 74 reviews right now as this video is on, with 5 stars. And if you look at the comments, the people talk about the systems, the processes, the people, the delivery we do for our clients, the bookings we bring them. Really excited. So the question is, what are you doing right now that's helping you build your business for the next couple of years? Well, that comes to a nice end to this channel video. I have really been excited to make this video for a very, very long time, and I'll be making more about this journey because I truly believe that, now being in the business for 10 years, being able to share what's happened, hopefully this gives you an idea about what you guys can do with your journey and how you're going to build your story behind how you've piled up all these actions you've taken, the principle that you've taken, but also being naive, because that's what's going to allow you to be consistent and delivering the things that you enjoy doing the most, right? So guys, if you don't know who I am and you've watched this video so far and you've really enjoyed it, my name is Piers BK from GrowYourBnB and AutomateYourBnB.com. We've worked with over 4,500 properties globally, and I really want to keep pushing it till we go to 10,000 and further. And I can definitely say we are the only growth partners right now in the industry to allow you to get those bookings, to allow you to grow your brand, to allow you to grow your systems, processes, and people. And look, if you're looking to work with us and you want to know a little bit about what we do, please make sure you book in a call with us right now. But thank you so much for watching another GrowYourBnB video, and look forward to catching up soon.